All right. So, Carrie, you said that you're talking about the number of items, and so I was particularly interested in when you said when I got to 50 items, my sales picked up. Then when I got to 100 items, my sales picked up. About how much did they pick up? I mean, did you double your sales, triple? I mean, what can you give us some figures there?
Um, I would say after about the third year of just kind of it being hobby type sales, I probably doubled then. And that's when I really expanded the variety of things I was selling. I had added by then wax prints and the Australian fabrics, and more of these African batiks. I have started to sell Indonesian batiks. So I had a bigger variety of countries I was selling from, and therefore a much wider variety of the types, the fashion type of fabric I was selling. So the wax prints are gorgeous, but not everybody loves that big, bold print. Some people love the batiks because they're a little bit more natural and handmade looking. And some people love the Guatemalan fabric because it's hand woven, so it feels different on your skin. So I have one shop, but it's sort of like I run 10 little shops. I very rarely have customers that buy fabric from different categories.
That's interesting. So, okay, so do you think when you said you doubled your sales, did your sales double because you were adding more variety, or do you think it doubled because you just hit some kind of like a point number
Kind
of
of a magic
items in your
number.
shop?
Yeah, probably a little bit of both. I think the variety expanded my customer group to draw from. There were more people that would be interested because there were more things to be interested in. But I think also just that pure number of, having 100 or more definitely makes a difference. But the variety of categories makes a big difference too, I think. I think when somebody comes to a shop and they might see one thing they like, but then they go, oh, there's all these other things I might like too, because they see the different categories. I think that definitely helps.
And then this is that people who are interested in one area of the world, you've got a good map here. So someone interested in, in Indonesian print is not the same person who's buying the African print. But so,
yeah,
that must be hard because most shops most shops revolve around a particular baby things. And so if as a 2-year-old and they buy from my shop and I sell baby items, then they can buy baby item A and then I can cross sell them down the line on baby item B and so forth. But is that something that do you kind of struggle with that, or do you find like, hey, I have enough fabrics in that from that geo region that it's not a problem?
I have a very different variety of customers. So that's been a challenge because I can't market to all of them the same way. I have people who are quilters. They make quilts, and that's their primary focus. So they only want cotton fabrics that they can use for quilting. So they are not people that are going to buy anything from Ecuador, because the Ecuadorian fabrics are not quilting fabrics. They're more of a fabric that you'd use for like a table topper, or a fabric that you'd use for clothing. And so they're totally different product niches. And I can't necessarily gather them all together with the same kind of marketing techniques. So that definitely is a challenge for me.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't recommend it. I would say if you're a handmade person and you're making something that you want to scale down and figure out who you are making for, because this technique that I have fallen into doesn't make as much sense as knowing who you make for. And like you said, being able to cross sell other items. I can't necessarily do that in my shop.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So, okay, so let's kind of drill down and look at some other tips and tricks here.
Mhm.
Where do the majority of your sales, is it coming? I know you've got an Instagram, presence with 1,700 followers and 1,752 now, and then you've got your website, and so yeah, so everybody go there and give her some love right now. There's the name right there. So so are you finding that most of your sales is coming from Etsy organic, or you need paid Etsy ads? Are you getting anything from Instagram? What do you think is your breakdown there?
My biggest source is Etsy. It's a really good system. People go to Etsy because they want to shop, and while they're there, they almost always buy something. So if you can use Etsy to its fullest capacity. It's a great system. I do pay for some Etsy advertising, but I would say over the years, I've never done more than $5 a day in advertising, and that was just kind of an experiment. I pretty consistently do $1 a day just to keep myself up there. But I'm also a pretty particular search. So if somebody's looking for South African shway shway, I want to say there's only about 4 different sources for it on Etsy. So I don't have to advertise a whole lot. I just have to hope that the right people show up to Etsy to look. It's kind of a mixed bag. Not everybody knows about shway shway, so I try to do a lot of things on my end to inform my customer base in the other locations, like Instagram or Facebook, about the things I sell, so that they'll come to my shop for those things. But if it's somebody looking for Guatemalan fabric, I'm going to be one of the places that pops up on that search because there just aren't as many people that sell it.
Yeah, I got it. So you're kind of a big fish in a small pond with these very, very niche fabrics.
They're niche.
Yeah.
Right. And because they're niche, my customer base is never going to be as big as, if I just sold quilt fabric like you'd find at Joann's or Hancock's. But my niche also allows me to find people that wouldn't shop at those kind of places either.
Yeah, but you're still doing fantastic. You've got over 8,300 sales. So yeah. You're getting sales definitely every few days, or if not every day.
Pretty consistently a sale a day. Sometimes I have great weekends and there'll be more but pretty consistently a sale every day.
And what day are you finding, have you kind of patterned out what's your best day?
My people shop on the weekends. And
okay.
And for some reason, very late at night. I almost always wake up to sales in the morning.
That's awesome. That's great. That's what everybody wants, is to wake up.
Right.
Wake up with sales, and you wake up in the morning, you make your stuff, you ship it, the money's already in the bank. Perfect.
That's
Okay.
What I do.
So basically, okay, so the first tip then is get more listings. The second tip is don't be afraid to really get myopic about your niche. A lot of people, I think the biggest mistake most people make is they don't niche down enough. Like they'll say, well, I want to sell, I want to sell jewelry. Okay, well, everybody sells jewelry. So what kind of jewelry? Who's your tribe? Who is your avatar? Who exactly? And then niche that down. Because all 7 billion of us can wear jewelry, right? So let's niche it down from there. So maybe it's okay. I sell, crystal jewelry. Okay, who is that customer, that perfect customer you're looking for? Okay, well, it's someone that's sort of bohemian, or it's someone young, or it's someone.
And once that perfect customer finds you, they keep coming back. I have lots and lots of return customers. because they know this is a place where they can find the thing, the very particular thing that they're looking for.
Yes, that's perfect. So it looks like on a lot of these, let's talk about email list building here. It looks like on some of these, you're saying grab the coupon, join our email list, and use the link in description below. Okay, yeah, you've got it in the description.
Yep.
So let me go to there. Oops, let me go here. And it's at the bottom, I think, right? Yeah. So this link here takes us to, let's see where that goes.
Let's cross our fingers.
Okay,
it goes
so
to the
this
right
is
place. Yay!
that's a MailChimp. Okay, cool. So you've got a MailChimp lead capture here, and then you're building your list. How big is your list now?
I've got about, I think I have about 700 on my email list.
Okay, so let's just do some math here. You've sold 8,300. You have 700 on your list, so you're collecting about kind of a little bit less than 10%. So 9 point something. We'll just roll that up to 10%.
And this is something I didn't start until probably 2 years ago. So I haven't been working on a list for a super long time.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so I think that's a great tip just in and of itself, that you don't have to do it perfectly from the start. You know, there are a lot of people who, especially who are coming to Craft Cash Summit, and they're listening to a lot of speakers, and they're trying to figure out, you know, what their particular path is going to be to success. And, you know, they're kind of taking a little bit here and there from different speakers. But the point there is, you know, you've had the shop for 7 years. You just started collecting emails 2 years ago. And, but, you know, the thing is, you have 700 people who, do you have any idea of how many of those, what percentage have actually bought something from you, and what percentage are, well, you don't have a lead magnet, so presumably no one would have opted in if they didn't, if you don't have a lead magnet, if they haven't bought from you. They're going to your email capture here.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get the coupon.
So
yeah.
They get the coupon.
So guys, yes. Okay, go ahead.
It's not a huge number. I have pretty good conversion on my reads, and I have people that, you know, every time I run a sale, they show up and they buy something because they got the email that tells them something's on sale. But I surprisingly have a lot of people that will come to my shop and not sign up for the 10% discount, which I always think is kind of strange. But so I would say your conversion rate is not going to be crazy high. Oh, there I am. But it's definitely worth it. The people who read my email read it pretty consistently, and pretty consistently will show up to shop. Okay, so
let's talk about that for a minute. Yeah, totally worth the effort. So you've got 700 people, presumably, let's just say they're all buyers, which is kind of like having 7,000 people who are a mixed bag, right? It's a lot of people say, well, I've got 7,000 people on my email list. Well, right, but having a buyer's email list is completely different than having someone who just got on your email list to get a, you know, free download of some kind. So so you've got 700 buyers on your list, and then how often are you mailing them, and if so, what are you actually mailing them?
I'm going to admit, so bad about being consistent about my email. It's one of my goals for the year is to try and do a weekly or a bi-weekly. But honestly, I struggle with what am I going to talk to them about this week if I'm not running a sale or I don't have new products coming in. So that's usually when I send out. If I've gotten a new shipment of products and I want people to know about it, I'll send out a newsletter. Or if I'm running a sale for, you know, like this Labor Day weekend sale, then I'll send out a message about that.
Okay, so let's talk about let's talk about the languaging in that special offer, like this, right now, Labor Day, you put some kind of sale together. Talk to us about what you put together. What is the sale, and then what you told people.
Okay, so my sale for Labor Day was 20% off on orders of I think it was $35 or more. I sent out a newsletter and said, it's a holiday weekend. Come on out. You have plenty of time off to browse. It's a good time to stock up because it's such a good coupon or a good sale rate. And I do know on the Etsy side of things that when you run a sale, they promote your shop more. People will specifically do searches for fabric on sale. So it kind of bumps you up in that search process on Etsy. So I run sales pretty often because I know that it definitely does boost my traffic.
Okay, you were kind of cutting out there for a second. When you said when you run a sale, it boosts you in Etsy because people are searching when they go search for fabric, they're putting the word sale in the search string? I
think they do, yes. From what I have read and researched and, classes I've taken about the process, it seems to give you a bump if you put stuff on sale in your shop.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. So, so you send out, so you have sales periodically. About how often? I mean, are you doing a sale a month or a sale a quarter, or how are you putting that together?
I would say at least once a month I'm running a sale for something. There's a holiday every day of the week if you look hard enough. So it's not hard to come up with a reason to run a sale. But yeah, I would say at least once a month.
Okay, cool. So you said, okay, this holiday, Labor Day, I'm going to do a 20% off sale. And then you email through MailChimp as a broadcast email specifically. And do you send pictures of your stuff with it, or is it just text only?
No, I always send pictures. If I have, especially if I've got a new shipment of stuff coming in, I'll send sample pictures of what's come in. Or another thing that's very popular with my readers, if I've made something myself. So as you're looking at my Instagram, there was a picture of some hand towels I made for my kitchen. Readers like to know that I'm making stuff and kind of get ideas for things they might make as well. So if I make anything, yeah, right there. If I make anything, I always put pictures of that into my newsletters as well.
Oh, that's a cool tip. So that's interesting. So they're looking at, buying fabrics from you, and they're looking at what you made and said, hey, I could make some of that. That looks pretty cool. That's great. That's a great tip. So,
and sometimes I'll include stuff my customers have made too. People are inspired by other people's work, so I try to get them to send me their stuff too.
That's a great idea. Okay, cool. So you're collecting the emails, you have a sale about once a month. How do you do on the sales? Like you said, typically I've got an order a day from Etsy organic search. When you have a sale, I mean, what are you doing in that sale? Are you doing like another 10 orders, another 20, 30? Kind of what is your range there?
I wouldn't say my bumps are that significantly higher. I do try to run my sales at the times of the month when I know that my general sales are not going to be as high. So my customers tend to shop at the beginning of the month and at the end of the month. They tend to shop on weekends. So if I'm going to run a sale that's not connected to a holiday, I will probably put it in the middle of the week as kind of an incentive to get people to shop when they wouldn't normally be shopping, if that makes sense.
So do you have any kind of deadline on the sale?
I usually run them for 3 to 5 days. But I'm doing it more to bring in sales when I wouldn't normally be getting a lot of sale. as opposed to getting more on the days that I do. Does that make sense? Like normally I wouldn't get a lot of sales on a Wednesday. So I'm going to run a sale on a Wednesday to try and get some more business on those days when I don't normally have business.
Yeah. And you were kind of cutting out there for a second. So I understand, having the sale during the slow days of the week, or the month too. But are you so when you say, hey, let's say you start on a Wednesday and you end on a Saturday or something, are you putting a definitive deadline, like Saturday at midnight, the sale ends?
Yes, I definitely do that.
Okay. All right. What else have you tried that maybe didn't work with your email list?
Didn't work. Well, you just were looking at a giveaway. The giveaways do work well. If I don't have a lot of new stuff to see, and I try to do a sale on a time when I don't have new inventory, I don't find that I have a lot of people that will show up. Usually my customers seem to want to see new stuff, which is another reason to keep your numbers high and always be making new things for people to come and visit.
I see. Okay. So that makes sense. They want access to the new stuff. So this fabric giveaway here, tell me so that didn't work for you as well, you said?
No, the fabric giveaways have gotten me a lot of traffic. Now, I will say, on Instagram, you have people who are just at your contest because they just enter contests. So I've had people that signed up for my newsletter as part of a giveaway, or went through the steps that they were supposed to go through, who've never actually bought anything in my shop because they're just contest people. They just enter contests all day long.
I see. Okay. But you did say that generally though, this is helping you get more followers on Instagram and then more people on your email list. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay. That's a great tip.
And
okay. So
the thing about fabric is people might not need it today, but it might give them an idea and they might come back much later. So it's a long-term growth kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So what else have you done? So I ask this question quite often. What I found in business in general is that it operates by the 80-20 principle, right? 20% of our efforts yield us 80% of the results. 20% of our customers give us 80% of the revenue. 20% of our, 20% of our, of the items that we sell in 400 items are generating 80% of the sales. Some may sell once or twice a year, but that's a pretty standard. That's pretty robust ongoing sales. So also though, with business owners, 20% of our decisions, 20% of the activities, the actions we're doing are generating 80% of the result. Looking back at your growth over the last 7 years, what were those sort of 1 or 2 or 3 things, those 20%er things that really helped you generate 80% of the results?
I would say for sure Instagram. I saw when I started to really do Instagram in earnest and really worked on building my followers, I saw a definite increase in business there. I opened up my own website. It's been pretty slow, quite frankly, but I think it gives me a little bit more legitimacy that I have my own website. I'm not just on Etsy. So I do have customers that only shop through my website that started out as Etsy buyers. But yeah, Instagram, I would say was very, very effective.
Okay, so you think that maybe, so if we're just making a list here, and in fact, I need to get over to my list. Let me pull that back up here. So if we're talking about the the 80-20 here, then in the 20%, we have get put up more listings.
Yeah.
50 was 50, then 100, you said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The number 2 was
Yep.
Instagram. We talked about building an email list.
Yes. I also have a Facebook page for the shop, and I do see that the people who follow me on Instagram are not the same people that are following my my Facebook page. So I would definitely say you need both. They're a different group of people that are following on both.
Okay, so Facebook, and is that what is your? Let me go back to this other account here. Close that. Hang on, let me grab this real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna go over and we're gonna look at your Facebook here.
And I have to say, now that Facebook and Instagram are linked, it's super easy because I can just post something on Instagram and it automatically goes to my Facebook page.
Okay, and it's a Facebook page. It's not a group. And then is it the same? Here, let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah, it's the same More Love Mama.
More Love Mama.
Mhm.
Let me grab that. We'll take a look here.
Yep. Yeah, it's not a group. I've looked into starting a group, and it's at this point it's just more work than I can put into something because you've got to moderate it. You've got to try and encourage people to really interact with each other, and so it's on the list of to-dos.
Okay, so you put your sales on there,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have about 1,000 people following this page,
Mm-hmm.
which to some people may not seem like a lot, but for you with such a super niche product, that is a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then so when you said you're doing, Facebook is part of your sales strategy, you're saying because you have so many followers and you're just making these posts of your discounts, your special offers.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll just say special offers, and then put up more listings, your Instagram, and you are doing you're spending $1 spending
Yeah.
$1 a day on Etsy ads. Okay, so Facebook, build an email list, Instagram. Okay, so I think those are all the different things we talked about. So of these things, which one so of these 5, looking at an 80-20 split, so one of these items that would be 20%, right? Because we've got 5 items.
Mm-hmm.
So which one item is generating 80% of your revenue, would you say?
I would say it's probably Instagram right now.
Okay, so you think you're getting, so let's just break this down for a second. So you've got Etsy organic, then you have Instagram.
Okay, and that's not true. It would be Etsy organic, and then next would be Instagram, but it's definitely Etsy organic.
What's the ratio? How many customers are you getting from Etsy organic as opposed to Instagram, Facebook?
Oh, Etsy organic is bringing I would say at least 80%.
Okay. And then Instagram, you think is what percent?
And then probably about 10 from Instagram, and then about 10 from everything else.
Okay, 10 from Facebook, and then your web page.
Yep.
Because you said some customers, they may be introduced to you somewhere on Instagram, Facebook, Etsy, but then they just say, hey, I just want to do business with her on Facebook. I'm sorry, on her web page. Yeah. Okay, so 80% is coming from organic.
And again, a lot of this overlaps. So the Etsy organic might be people who also follow me on Instagram, but it's hard to exactly quantify.
Right. So why do you, I'm just curious, okay, so let's talk about your promotion strategy, because I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really like your promotion strategy because it's just simple, straightforward. It's not, overly complicated. This is something that everybody can go do tomorrow. Your promotional
Yes.
strategy is send an email, then you go over to Instagram and you mention the sale on Instagram. Then you go over here and you say mention the sale on Facebook.
And again, my Instagram and Facebook are linked to each other, so I only have to post once. If I post it on Instagram, it automatically rolls over to my Facebook as well. So it's super easy.
Okay, and what are you using a plugin for that or an app?
No, they're just connected now.
Oh, you're integrated, yeah.
Yeah, if you have the business account on Facebook and on Instagram, they're just connected. You just have to click a button in your Instagram feed.
Cool, that's a good tip. So yeah, so Facebook, so just so everybody understands, this Facebook page that I'm on right here for everybody, this is not a business. I mean, this is a business page, right? So there are three types of, well, four specifically types of pages on Facebook. There's the account, the personal account, which is what everybody thinks you do business on. That's not the case. That's the account you share with your grandmother and your mom. That's not what this is here. Okay. The next kind is what Facebook calls a business account, which they call a page. I mean, the nomenclature is horrible, but that's just, that's how they do it. So this is actually a business page. And what this allows you to do, you have different tool sets in pages than you do in your personal Facebook account. Okay. In other words, Carrie can do some things on this page, this business page, that she cannot do in her personal account. One of those things is she can integrate it with Facebook. Okay. So just want to make that clear for everybody because a lot of people get confused about that. They have a personal page and they say, well, I have a personal page. I'll just sell my stuff on there. And then why can't I get the integration done? So anyway, I just want to make that quick point. So
if you're looking at this page,
Carrie, I lost you there.
Are you there?
Yep, that's better. Go ahead.
Okay.
If you're looking at the page.
Somehow it automatically unmuted me, I guess, because I'd had it on too long. So if you're looking at that orange ad right there, that's actually created by Etsy in their social media marketing section. So I made it on my Etsy. I sent it to Instagram, which also sent it to Facebook. So it was like a one-stop shop kind of thing. They've really done a lot to make marketing easier for you on the Etsy side of things as well.
Okay, that's a cool tip. So you're not using Canva or anything like that. This is all just automated.
This was just automated from Etsy. Yep. When I created my sale, they created this little graphic that I could send out to my customers.
Okay, that's very cool. So going back, okay, so basically you said 80% comes from organic, and so so this is your promotion strategy. Let's go back, and the last thing I want to go over here with you, Carrie, these have been fantastic tips, by the way. The last thing I want to do here is look at this 80%, right? Because so this 80% that you get organic, what are the very few factors that you think are giving you this? So in other words, not like everything, but what are the one or two things that you think you've done over time that are giving you this kind of organic traffic?
I think you've got to have a really specific description because people who are searching are pretty often looking for something specific. And I think you have to have really good pictures. And I wouldn't say that my pictures are amazing. That's something I still am working on. But the more accurate, I guess maybe is the word, that your pictures are, the better off your customers are going to be because they know what they're buying. So if you can take a picture from every possible angle, that's going to make a big difference. If you can get a really good close-up and a really good far angle, if you can get, you know, the beautiful pictures, which aren't as important for my shops, but the beautiful pictures where you see the item in an arrangement, how it might really be used. Pictures are important.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. So let me just go over here to, so let's go back to, right. So, and the other thing too is your pictures are very uniform. You know, this looks like a company. This doesn't look like, well, I got something in, I took it on my, you know, I took a picture of it laying on my bed, and then I took another picture of it laying on my couch, or, you know, this is very congruent and it looks very professional. And so that helps. Okay, perfect. Well, those are some great tips. So basically, I mean, we went over the 80-20 here. We went over some actionable things. You put up more listings, get an Instagram presence for the promotion, build an email list, which I think is super important. Most of the top sellers I know are building email lists.
Yeah.
Facebook, have a couple places. I mean, really getting a Facebook, I mean, you almost really don't even have to be that super active on Facebook. If you're just, you know, once a month you're doing a promotion and it's just automatically going to your Facebook. You know, you put up a few videos every now and then, and that's basically it.
Yes,
I mean, it looks like
really, there's a lot of stuff you can do to streamline it and connect it and make it all work a lot faster for you. But you do want to throw out a lot of different nets. You want people to be able to find you lots of different places.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, perfect. All right, Carrie, thank you so much for the tips and the in-depth. That was really, really amazing. And thank you so much for speaking with us today. How can people find out more about you?
Well, you can stop by my shop, and you can find me anywhere at More Love Mama, morelovemama.com, More Love Mama on Instagram, More Love Mama on Facebook. And I'd love to hear from customers or people who are just interested. If you have questions about fabric, or if you have questions about how to start an Etsy shop, I'd love to help. I'm a teacher. I can't help it. But I love meeting new people who are starting their new businesses and are just, you know, doing it from scratch. It's kind of intimidating, but it's so much fun. I love my shop.
Perfect. And we'll have links to your shop and to your Instagram on the speaker page. So we'll make sure that gets done as well. Again, Carrie, thank you so much for sharing so much valuable information with our attendees.